stoned feet. The cloud was heavy that evening, and it seemed like the ambition could be buried that night, or worse still, could be lost in the ocean of color blindness. Suhan has lived in Minnesota in the last 18 years, born in D.C. to Somalian immigrants. They came into the country on a streak of hope. After the horrible experience of the American Army in Mogadishu, Omar. Suhan's father had worked as a translator for the Army and was actively effective. He was responsible for the escape of a military unit who were almost ambushed on an evening patrol. The Somalian nation had been a host to several insurgency, from terror groups to the sweeping sea pirates. The unsettling insecurity bedeviling the region places the East African nation at great humanitarian risk. Quite a number of Somali had fled the country seeking freedom and an environment free from crisis and terror, while many have found Europe and Australia as safe haven. The United States has seen quite a number of Somalians settling across the states. Suhan had been born 2 years after his parents were relocated to the U.S. The years were difficult as they managed to be integrated into the system and as they had to brush their education in order for them to be able to gain favorable employment. Omar continued his study in administration, while Ramat, his wife, took the study of business religiously. Coming from a trading family in Merka, a city with less than 300,000 in population, her parents had engaged in the sales of daily items and had become well known at it. Although her father was killed by the notorious terrorist, her family relocated to Germany shortly after her marriage to Omar. "Hey, where are the remaining flyers for the town hall meeting tonight?" Suhan asked. "They are ahead of us," Dorothy replied. "We need to get in early. I need to see and speak with a Republican senator in the city. We agreed to have lunch," Suhan quipped, pulling his gray tie in place. "You didn't remember to mention that to me," Dorothy said, moving close to him and staring at his tired face. The campaign for the Congress had taken its toll on him. He had been everywhere in the state of Minnesota, seeking the approval of many a well as canvassing for their votes in the upcoming election. Dorothy had been a close friend of Suhan for some time. They had met in their penultimate year at Yale. Watchie he studied LW, she was rounding up with her degree in data science and management. She had come to work in Tej state of Minnesota with a blue-chip organization and had met him again. Her role in his campaign had been immensely favorably to him and the desire to get into Congress. While the African look and background of Suhan had been a major roadblock in the quest and foray into politics, Dorothy's presence and voice had always doused the tension. "We leave in 10 minutes, said Patrick as he came to the back of the bus where Shan and Dorothy had been chatting. "We are ready for the road," Dorothy replied. "Hey, you dog looks like he needs to sleep for a yesser," Patrick remarked about the balls under the eyes of Suhan and how tired he looked. "With me, he will look better," she replied, smiling. "Patrick, my only headache is to beat Eugene at the polls next month," Suhan said. "You don't beat people like Eugene, you roll him up," Patrick joked. Eugene Larson had come from a strong political family whose father had been a key stakeholder in the present Democratic government. He boasts of alliances across the state, including the Pressnet governor whose second term is coming to an end. While they chatted, news broke on the television of an sanitation in Minneapolis. The Democratic candidate for governor had just been shot and had died on the way to the hospital. He was campaigning in the city before a lone gunman had taken a single shot at him. The yet-to-be-identified gunman had been taken into custody. "Holy cow!" Suhan said in shock. "Call the team on ground. We have to postpone the campaign," he remarked. "At least not today," he added. "Just a lil bit," a known rap song by 50 Cent buzzed from Suhan's phone. He had been using it as his ringtone for a while. "Hello? Suhan, have you heard?" The voice questioned nervously on the other end. "I have reports that there would be more attempts," he added. "We don't know who is behind this. Please cancel all engagements for a week," he commanded. "Thanks, Steve," Suhan responded as he ended the call. Dorothy, now visibly shaken, asked, "Suhan, what do we do now?" Holding him by the arm. "Please set up a conference call with our team in the entire state," he answered. "Allow assemble the team. We are returning to the hotel right away." He ordered two. His campaign had planned to head to the city of Minneapolis as they planned to heat it up against his opponent in what appears to be his stronghold. The assassination of the Democratic governorship candidate had doused the atmosphere for all the contesting parties. The news of the assassination had riddled the entire country, and there was anger everywhere as many urged the government to bring the perpetrator and whoever is behind them to book. Suhan slumped into the mahogany chair in his apartment soon after Dorothy and the INTRIGUE team joined him, exhausted and confused as to the next step in an already intense campaign with debates in between. They were to attend the remaining few town hall meetings in order to rally their bases. He poured a drink for himself and handed the bottle to Patrick, who refused. All the while, Suhan's security detail had been on the phone and on his comm. He came to whisper to him something that startled him, and his eyes were enlarged. "What is it?" demanded Dorothy. "Suhan, what did he just tell you?" she asked forcefully. "I'm next," Suhan muttered. "Next for what?" Patrick shouted. "They found the assassin's playbook. He was coming to the town hall tonight to use his weapon on me," he said, staring into space. Suhan had not made enemies, yet he had not made many friends either. Though born in the country, he had always been on the end of the racism stick. He had been openly yelled at during his campaign and asked to go back to his country, be some people. Once a woman asked him if there were no more places to bomb as a terrorist, that he has now chosen America. He had not found these experiences strange, since he had been used to it from childhood. Once in high school, some students bullied him because of his color, and he refused to go to school for a month, urging his father to take him out of the country and to any other place where would not be cursed at. He further discovered that the assassin had planned to take out the governorship candidate as a cover, that he was the main target. While the Democratic candidate for governor might not have been liked by many and might not even have posed any threat to his Republican counterpart, the thought of having a Somalian born in the U.S. become a representative at the U.S. Congress was something some people could not imagine. "I'm afraid you would not be able to leave this place for a while," his security detail informed. "He is not the only one with the assignment. Until we find it safe, we will have to keep you here," he concluded. Everyone on his team were visibly shocked at the thought of someone attempting to take anybody's life. Dorothy began to sob. The compounded stress of the campaign to the endless meetings and sleepless night tore through her. Suhan went close to her. Nad hugged her. Then, seating her down, he took his phone to call his mom. "Ma, please, I need you and Dad to please come to my house immediately," he pleaded with his mom. "I've been trying to get a hold of you since I heard the news," Ramat blurted. "Yes, I and my team are fine. We canceled the town hall. Please come with some food, too. I have some more things to share with you," he concluded. Dennis, the IT team lead on the team, bursted into tears with anger. "Who the hell wants us dead?" he questioned. "Why can't we live in fucking peace?" He cursed, raising his fist. "Dennis, political interest and campaign brings anyone to the limelight, so much so that everyone or anyone who has a bone to pick would do all and anything to get them out of the way," Suhan told him while patting him on the shoulder. "I cannot deny how hard we have worked and how much we have labored, but I am assuring you that these tests and trial will pass and we will overcome," he assured. The sun rose early that Saturday morning. Suhan was out for a morning jog in the park. His details were following behind. While on his run, he ran into a friend. "Hey, James, how are you today?" Suhan asked. "Hi, buddy, I'm okay. How are you coping with the political heat?" James asked. "I'm so tired of hiding," Suhan replied. "I will come out on the side in Congress," he joked. "I need you to come by my office on Monday so we can conclude the papers for the book deal," James said while resting his arms on his knees. While they were having the conversation, a black-tinted sedan screeched beside them, and two hooded men with guns ambushed the two men chatting on their run, firing in the air as everyone ran for cover. In split seconds, Suhan and James were kidnapped and rushed into the car. Suhan wondered where his security detail was. It was later he realized that the first shot had hit him in the chest and he had died immediately. While in the car, the attackers told their hostages repeatedly, "America cannot be ruled by outsiders. You either step down or you die." When Suhan's hood was removed, he could not identify the assailants as well the place where they were. The assailants were on the phone with someone, and they could hear the conversation from their side. "We have the Al-Shabaab boy," referring to Suhan, "but there is a white boy with him." They responded on the phone. "All right, we will let him go," they answered. "White boy, come on out." They untied James and took him by the hand, leading him to the door. James had a big build and was thinking of fighting the assailants who were now 6 in numbers. James jammed the one holding him by the hand into the door and swung a kick at the second man behind. Suhan, watching them, screamed at him to stop. He feared they might kill him just as they had his detail. "Please don't." This time the other two had rushed at James, hitting his head with the butt of their gun. James groaned and, still struggling, was able to free himself and ran towards the garden in the compound and scaled the fence. "Where did he go?" one of them asked. "I told you to fucking shoot the bastard." He shouted at the one who shissed James. Suhan was glad that James had been able to escape. His lean frame would not be able to pull out the kind of stunt which James just pulled. Suhan's phone rang. It was Dorothy. They had taken the phone from his pouch when they forcefully took him from the park. The rang a second time, and this time they picked the call. "Why are you calling the Somali boy? You will not find him ever again," yelling at Dorothy. "Please don't hurt him. Let him go," she pleaded. They ended the call. Dorothy had confirmed the worst. She had come to his house and wondering where he could have gone without notifying her or any member of the team. She made a call to Patrick, who had heard of the kidnap and the death of Henry, the security detail attached to Suhan. He had reached out to the police who had began their investigation. While Suhan was still being held, a phone call came for the guys holding him. "We have to keep him quiet and lay low. The street is full with the cops," the caller informed. "Okay, I thought you wanted to come and warn him in person?" he asked. "No, not anymore. I will let you know the new plan," he answered. By this time, Omar had reached Suhan's residence and met Dorothy and the rest of the team. "I thought we agreed that he should be invisible for a while," he asked, visibly shaken. "Yes, we did. What happened this morning was not in our playbook," Dorothy answered. "He didn't even at least let anyone know that he is going for a run," she added angrily. Omar sat down on a side stool, reaching for his phone to call his wife, who had also been worried, but waited on her husband to go and see things for himself. "Yes, it is true. Suhan has been abducted this morning," Omar lamented. "But we hear the police are on it," he said, trying to calm her. "It's all right. We will remain hopeful." She had been on a long call with Suhan the previous night, where she reminded him of his childhood, comparing it with hers. She had told him of the dusty roads in Merca where she grew up. Having to run errands for her parents, as the eldest daughter, the responsibility of chores fell on her. She narrated how that on some terribly sunny days, she would have to walk a mile delivering parched maize from her father to a customer, and tiredly returning home only with the joy of the payment for her wares. Ramat had done so well with organizing her parents' business and consequently putting the accounts correctly and up to date. On one of such errands to Mogadishu, she had met the tall and handsome Omar, who was equally selling the last bucket of milk from his family's cattle. His careful organizing of the business and calm demeanor endeared her to him. They had talked briefly, and he had placed an order of 1/2 ton of maize, which he would combine to make feed for the other animal. They had continued that way until Omar told his uncle that he thinks he has found a wife. The ceremony was quiet, as they both wedded in Merca. Suhan was going through a lot of pain from the blows he had been hit by the guys that took him. Suhan Warsame had always believed that politics revealed character. He just never expected it to reveal monsters wearing familiar faces. The room he'd been held in had no windows, no sound beyond the drip of a leaking pipe. 2 weeks of darkness had stripped time of meaning. His wrists were raw from zip ties, his throat sore from days of silence. But every time the kidnappers came with their threats, "Drop out of the race, withdraw or disappear forever," he felt something inside him harden instead of break. On the outside, the world had erupted. In a temporary FBI command center, screens flickered with heat signatures, maps, and encrypted messages. At the center of it all, Dorothy Vega, his closest friend and now acting campaign director during the crisis, stood like a storm contained in a woman's body. "Patch me into the director," she snapped. "We need access to the highway traffic cameras from last Monday." An agent protested. "We're already scraping the feeds. We don't even know if the van was—" "We know," Dorothy cut in, her eyes cold. "Because someone inside our campaign knew Suhan's schedule better than the kidnappers could guess. This wasn't random." That made the room go silent. Dorothy leaned over the conference table, palms pressed flat. "He was targeted, and whoever leaked the schedule still works with us." The FBI supervisor exhaled sharply. "You're suggesting an inside betrayal." "I'm not suggesting it," Dorothy said. "I'm confirming it." A younger agent rushed over. "Ma'am, we found something. A burner phone used to text his route. The number was saved under one name." Dorothy's heart slammed against her ribs when she read it. James Hale, Khalid's longtime strategist, his mentor, his friend of 10 years. Dorothy's face drained of color. "Bring me everything you have," she whispered. Inside the warehouse, the truth cracks open. Hours later, in the dim warehouse where Suhan was held, James Hale entered with 2 masked guards. Suhan lifted his head, squinting. "James?" His voice broke. What are you doing here?" "I thought you escaped earlier. Or—" Suhan suddenly realized that his friend of 10 years had been the mole. It was not coincidence when he met him while running on the morning he was kidnapped. James sighed heavily, as if he were the victim. "You should have stepped aside, Suhan." Suhan shook his head in disbelief. "You worked with me. You told me this campaign meant something." "It does," James snapped, "and you were going to lose. You don't understand how ugly this district has become. The donors, the machines behind them, they don't want you. They want someone predictable, someone I can control." "So you had me kidnapped?" Suhan whispered, heart pounding. James leaned closer, voice low. "I gave you a chance. You wouldn't listen." Suhan's fists clenched. "You betrayed me for power." "No," James said quietly. "I betrayed you for survival." Before Suhan could answer, gunfire exploded outside the room. James froze. "What the hell?" The door burst open and FBI tactical agents flooded in, and behind them, Dorothy. Her voice cracked when she saw him. "Suhan!" He fell into her arms as she held him fiercely. "You came," he whispered. "I never stopped," she said. As they escorted him out, Suhan looked back at James, who now knelt cuffed on the floor, eyes wide with a mixture of fury and shame. "This isn't the end," James hissed. Suhan stared at him with a calm born from surviving the storm. "It is for you." Suhan's release hit national news like a lightning strike. Congressional hearings were launched. Commentators speculated nonstop. Protesters filled streets demanding justice. And tucked beneath the public outrage was a quieter, more dangerous undercurrent. Some people didn't want him to return and were willing to finish what Marcus started. The morning after his rescue, Suhan sat in a secure hospital room. Dorothy entered carrying folders. "You shouldn't be working," he told her. She laughed weakly. "I haven't slept, and I'm powered by 3 cups of terrible coffee. So technically, I'm not working. I'm surviving. He smiled faintly. Dorothy, I need to know. How did you even find me? She sat beside him, voice soft. Because I know how you think. And because... She hesitated, fingers trembling. Because losing you wasn't an option. His breath caught. Dorothy. But she quickly shifted into business mode. There's something else. James isn't talking. But another political operative was paid to fund the operation. We don't know who. So it goes deeper. She nodded grimly. Much deeper. A knock interrupted them. An FBI agent entered. Ma'am, Congressman-in-waiting Warsame, the Bureau thinks you should know. Someone leaked footage of your rescue, and rumors are spreading. Suhan frowned. What rumors? That Dorothy was involved. Dorothy's face went pale. Suhan's voice hardened. Absolutely not. She saved my life. Sir, the agent said carefully, someone is trying to destroy both of your reputations. When the agent left, Suhan turned to her. Dorothy, you know I trust you? She nodded, eyes shining with something between relief and fear. Yes. And I need you to trust me too, he said softly. She swallowed. With what? With my heart. Dorothy froze as he reached for her hand. I thought of you every hour I was gone, Suhan said, and I realized that I love you more than I ever admitted. Her eyes filled. Suhan. She leaned in, forehead touching his. I love you too. I think I always have. The moment could have lasted forever, but a phone alert shattered it. Dorothy looked up at him, fear returning. This isn't over, she whispered. Election night arrived under a storm of threats, security checkpoints, and swirling conspiracy theories. Half the country watched to see if Suhan would triumph. The other half watched to see if he would even make it through the night alive. In the campaign headquarters, Suhan stood behind the curtains of the ballroom, preparing for his speech. Dorothy checked her earpiece again. Security is tight, she told him, but stay close to me. He smiled gently. I always do. She swallowed hard. Don't make jokes, not tonight. He touched her cheek. Dorothy, look at me. She did. We're here, he said. We survived. Together. Before she could respond, the room exploded into cheers. Suhan Warsame wins the 5th district. Reporters flooded the room. Supporters screamed his name. Confetti rained from the ceiling. Dorothy turned to him, breathless. You won. No, he said. We won. He took the stage as cameras flashed like lightning. My fellow Americans, he began, I stand before you as someone who has seen the worst parts of ambition and the best parts of hope. He told the story of surviving darkness, of the betrayal by someone he trusted, and of choosing not bitterness, but resilience. And then, he extended his hand toward Dorothy, signaling her to join him. She froze, stunned. He smiled. Dorothy Vega, the woman who saved my life and this campaign. The crowd roared. Dorothy stepped onto the stage, shaking, emotional. Suhan took her hands in front of the nation. Dorothy, he said softly so only she could hear. From this day forward, I want us to walk every step together. Not just in politics, but in life. She whispered, Are you sure? I'm certain, he said, kissing her forehead. You are the person I trust more than anyone. And with the crowd chanting his name, with the cameras capturing a future reborn from violence and betrayal, Suhan Warsame, kidnap survivor, trailblazer, lover, and now congressman, held Dorothy's hand high in victory. A victory forged in danger, strengthened in loyalty, and sealed by love.